I'm going to play as a Zerg using the software right here, and I'll choose to go as Zerg versus Protoss Hydrobane. This is pretty much a copy of already known build. I could not remove drone timings in the overflow spawning tool, so I'm just recreating the build without drone timings. I removed lurkers because I currently do not like to play with lurkers. I can't access this build unfortunately, so there's no way for me to click on it unless I would type in everything myself. Spawning tool, build 74945. Done. So that's the build that the current one I selected is based on, but it's not the exact copy. So second overlord, check scan rush, then base for units. First 4-8 Zerglings push back at depth, 1 pylon proxy cyber chrono all in Wargate before Twilight build. Okay, so there's some info here that's kind of value. Event scouting, if you see 1 pylon proxy cybernetic score, it's certainly on all in. Warp gate before Twilight build. So as far as I'm aware, if you see a proxy base 1 pylon inside of the natural base and cybernetics chrono, not sure what the chrono stands for. In any case, pretty much if there's only 1 pylon in the main base, there's probably going to be a proxy Stargate or gateway somewhere close to your base, so that's probably an all-in. On the other hand, if it's a warp gate before Twilight, so you see warp gates like if you see the military buildings look a little different, it's gonna be a Twilight build, not an all-in. But I'm not sure. I kind of think that this is what this is all about. In any case, I don't really understand what's written here to kind of completely properly. Then there's 100 gas overlord speed, 2 drones of gas, 3 inject queens. Okay, this noise that's in the game is kind of hindering things for me, the ambient sound. Don't like it anymore. So I'm gonna go for no sound. What about music? Probably music would not be a very good choice, but maybe a percentage would not be too bad. I'll have to check it out. In any case, I haven't checked that build completely though, but I'm gonna go for this now, and let's do this. Let's build this and see how this is gonna go. So I'm currently playing with the music Unfortunately, what I don't really like about it is that the music may end up kind of being very repetitive, and if it's not something
not enough minerals
I very much like, then I may not be choosing it. In any case, here I'll be starting with this
more minerals required.
early hatcher. This kind of a strategy is a bit fascinating, really. In any case, here I'm gonna build the extractor. So why it's fascinating? Because I've kind of got used to building a couple of drones first, and things like that, like building drones first before a super early second base, grow into kind of a memory, and just like F keys that I've changed a bit, just kind of hindering stuff later. So basically, if I don't do the same thing always, then it may just become a hindrance, to say the least. Okay. In any case, that's done. I'm going to still drone up. Well, I have 23 workers, no troops whatsoever, so my supply count represents everything the way it's supposed to be. And here I can finally start a couple of queens, a metabolic boost, and it actually wants me to go into another hatchery here. Okay.
Must spawn more overlords.
Completely missed out on the overlords. Fine.
Insufficient overlords.
So here I'm just kind of focusing on creating myself a base of operations.
Newly birthed.
Where I'm going to have a hell of a lot of workers done quickly. As well, I need a couple of zerglings. Now, it looks like it's gonna take a little bit of time before my larva injects, and here we go. So I've just got hit with quite a few
Evolution complete.
workers, and I have plenty of cash, so the timer continues, and I'm gonna build myself
Unacceptable.
a bunch of spark crawlers, which is without a doubt a very important thing to have. Here we have these, the third base, I mean. Okay, what's next? Overlord, Zerg melee weapons, and the lair. Then I should probably build here another queen and send this queen here. Okay, that's what I like to see. The lair is on its way. I have to build myself a Bailing's nest, and I'm gonna go for an extractor a couple of extractors.
More overlords.
Look at that, I have
Sufficient energy.
a lot of money here. Actually, quite a bit of cash indeed. Let's see.
Successful.
The Bending's Nest is on its way. And I'm going to fill this up with workers, and it wants me to go for a 5 extractor. So that's quite a few extractors. That's actually all I could potentially field, as well as I'm going for more workers. So I kind of assume that my opponent is not going to be aggressive. Another thing to note is that when I'm doing my injects, I do not look at the animation. I just hold E for a bit, and that's it. It does the inject. So I don't really need to spend all that time. And wasting it all. Now look at that. It looks like centrifugal hooks. I missed a few buildings, and I wonder what did exactly I missed. So let's take a look. Baneling's Nest, extractor, hydraulics. Then okay, so this is centrifugal hooks. So it looks like I didn't miss that many buildings. In any case, what do I need to build? A few more Zarglings gonna go down. Zerg melee weapon 2, love melee weapon 1 was kind of mistakenly placed incorrectly. This one needs to cancel. I actually want you to go down here.
Hive cluster under forces under attack.
It looks like I need to get my queen out of here. And this queen needs to do a job. Done. And at this point I should be
spawn more overlords.
going for overlords. I'm going to reach
Mineral field. More overlords required.
a very high overlord count, as well as an expansion
Cluster, not enough energy.
will take place. So finally the overlords are done, and
Swarm has evolved.
I'm going to spend
Mutation complete.
my remaining larva on more workers. So I'm being
energy.
foolishly greedy or a genius if I'm not going to be attacked. So that's kind of the thing here, is that I'm either right by expanding, or I'm not, because I'm going to be attacked and defeated easily this way. Additional workers can go around the place, and they could do the job. I'm building hydralisks. The build is pretty much done. I'm gonna go for hydralisk then, the one that wasn't really added. A couple of upgrades here and there. Mutagen glands increases starting energy for infestors and gives the parasite ability. Okay, the other one gives the parasite ability, so that is a neural parasite. That would allow me to take control of other units. I'm gonna pick up a few infestors. I'm even going to build some swarm hosts here.
Mineral field exhausted.
And that's it. So far I really like the fact that I don't have to look at the animation. Okay, and so it begins.
Mineral cluster expanded.
We are moving forward. It's gonna take some time for the lurker then to finish. And I have 66
Mineral field depleted.
workers. What else do they have here?
Swarm has evolved.
So let's
Newly birthed queen. Sequences spun. Swarm.
see.
Mineral field exhausted.
I have a hell of a lot of units now. I need to find a hotkey for them. So let's look for it.
Mineral cluster expanded.
So Zerglings on T, Infestors on G, Wormhost. I'm gonna put them on R. So what do we have? Wormhost, Zerglings, Infestors on G, and it looks like that's fine. Now I would launch the attack now. So how could I start this? First of all,
Evolution complete.
let's take a look how these would end up being useful. Probably it would be, look at that investor being pushed away with the Hydralis by all of these wormhosts. Okay, so these guys will be able to hit the enemy from distance. So probably in these kind of scenarios. So what does that mean? That means that I can strategically, for example, draw out the enemy that would otherwise be, for example, defending here by attacking him directly into his base using the swarm house. So what do I want to do is I want to fly them close to his workers and just eliminate his worker just like that in a matter of
Mineral field depleted.
seconds. So this would probably make him
cluster under direct
assault me, and okay.
Swarm forces under attack.
And I would use the links to go back and intercept his forces over here. But I think my workers may as well deal with them. But losing any number of workers may just be a disaster anyway.
Mineral field exhausted.
That's the thing.
Swarm forces under attack.
Okay. I have 65 linked at this moment. And so the swarm house was used very well. I like that quite a bit. It takes some time for them to actually launch properly though. And once they land, they will not do much. Besides, they attacked automatically anyway. In any case, it looks like this will end the game for my opponent. And as you can see, they would end up being stuck on the ramp here. So that has to be kind of looked after consistently so that they would never end up being stuck on the ramp. And it's time to play this again. So once again, I'm going to start with an early hatchery here. Okay.
Mineral quantity insufficient.
So let's go for it.
More overlords required.
Okay, so the overlord is in production. I built 2 drones because just kind of remembering that a bit too often. I don't like that one side of the hive has been rendered relatively nice. Another side, right, this one, is not nearly as good looking. Okay, so I need to select the drone, go here and build myself that hive there.
More minerals required.
Okay, and I'm just building stuff further. Now it's time to go for that extractor. And a spawning pool.
Mineral quantity in command unacceptable.
Okay, done. That's done.
Not enough minerals.
I need to kind of spot things like supply counts, which is easier said than done. So furthermore, what else am I doing? So basically I got 3 guys in the extractor. Fine. But it's fine for as long as I'm actually going to need to use gas quickly. So what am I going to, or supposed to use the gas for? And that is this metabolic boost.
More minerals required.
When making a reasonably early metabolic boost, what comes to mind is that why would you do that if you, for example, would not
Overlords.
be using
More overlords required. Queen birth successful.
would not be using your troops
Must spawn more overlords.
relatively early. Well, even if you do not, but what I think then is that even if I would not be
Not enough energy.
of any kind of intention to use my troops early, I would still may end up being attacked, and in order for me to win that attack over my enemy, I would need to use links, and this is
Insufficient energy.
where that makes sense.
Not enough energy.
Okay, the next thing is an evolution chamber. Fine.
Insufficient overlords.
It looks like I already got supply blocked. I'm just not looking at my supply. I have so much stuff to do. I don't even care, really. That's the way it works.
Must spawn more overlords.
Okay, I have a hell of a lot of cash, and I'm just not working with those overloads. Next thing, the spore crawlers. Okay, let's work them all out here. And melee weapon done. I would like to go into a hive here, but I cannot do that.
Queen birth successful.
So one way is to kind of select six of them, send them here, deselect 3, send the remaining there, and that may save a few bricks. Oh, look at that, I built an additional queen. That's fine, I'm gonna send that additional queen here. Wow, let's get that. Queen inject 5 extractors have been already done for me. And guess what? It wants me to build another hatchery. Am I right? So basically we have 1, 2, 3 hatcheries, and now that's the 4th hatchery. And as you know, we already have 3 hatcheries, which is a sizable number without a doubt. And the build wants us to go for additional hatcheries. Okay, so I'm gonna go for that as well. Now the next thing I need is probably a few upgrades and a consistent larva injects. Alright, the hydralisk then as well. But I don't have a hive. It looks like I completely missed out on the hive.
Not enough energy.
When I was thinking about it, and this well put my play at a disadvantage. So the sensible thing here is to go for roach wire.
Overlords required.
And as well, I'm gonna order many overlords, because I kind of know that my opponent is not going to attack me with a significant troop formation. As you can see, just a couple of marines and a marauder. More of a kind of a feel of you getting a warning of that's incoming, or just have been made, rather than the actual fight for the hive. Here I'm gonna build many roaches, and I have 58 workers. I do not need that many workers, really, but I could max out on those workers. I have 72 and rising, so really that will be it. Now I could go for a few investors as well, and at this point I'm gonna build like Ravagers, Banelings, and
sequences spun, swarm mutated.
I'm very weak anti-air. However,
must be morphed on creep.
I could do the hydralisk
mineral cluster expended.
Now, so what else do I have? I have infestors here, as you can see, and I could put these on F. No, I can't put them on F. Put them on G. F is for buildings this time, and R is for Ravager. I have very few lanes left. Okay, so it's time for me to start moving, and I'm gonna send everybody over here. Also, I need to build
Insufficient swarm forces under attack.
So, okay, look at that. They need to retreat, otherwise they're gonna die.
Cluster expended.
So, as you can see, that worked out splendidly. Okay. Boom. Okay, that's
complete.
boom.
Swarm has evolved.
Let's use this Ravager to kill off that unit. And now, nearly without ammo, I am attacking. And
not enough energy.
I wonder if that's done right.
Mineral cluster expended. Sequences spun.
My infestors ended up being stuck here.
Insufficient energy.
Wow, dropping
Not
these guys
enough energy.
has proved to be a lot more complicated using infestors than I initially
Mineral field exhausted.
expected though. So the things are that they got stuck. They got really badly stuck.
Insufficient energy.
And it's that they are slow. They're really slow. In any case, the infestors are out of energy, so they will be out of the battlefield. Also, I should kind of never really forget to build additional units.
Overlords.
We're finally into enemy's base, and they're blasting everything. Well done. We can end this. And take a look at the score screen. That's it. So the builds that I'm building here while using the spawn pool so far are not exact copies because I just can't get it done. I just can't, because I miss the buildings consistently. I don't like the way the program moves everything off. So I would prefer it to go from bottom down rather than the other way around, and that's just kind of the way it works. In any case, here it's time to play this again, this build. And I'm going to first of all take up positions.
Must spawn more overlords.
And the overlord is here. I just need to build that hatchery. So this is a sort of a intensive
Mineral quantity insufficient.
build, and eventually the game requires a
Not enough minerals.
truly significant skill to move units around the place, build buildings, click on various commands using the keyboard, and it's overwhelming. Not only it is overwhelming to
More minerals required.
to control, but also to think and decide, and it's just absolute madness. Not too bad, but it's certainly very, very intensive, to say the least. So at this point, I should drone up quite a bit, and in this way prepare. Okay, the metabolic boost is in. The next thing I need is a bunch of queens so that I could finally get those larvae in an all new build.
Not enough minerals.
Drones need to go down to the second man center. So what's happening here? I kind of suspect
More
that
overlords require mineral quantity insufficient.
after playing this for a million games, a player will start to kind of know all kinds of nitty-gritty stuff.
Birthed queen ready.
For the reason
Queen birth successful.
that I mentioned, which is a game that has been played a million times, and probably what that means is that the player will not suffer from things like out of money.
Evolution complete.
Comments from the commentator. So I just built a couple of spore crawlers, which is without a doubt a very, very important
Insufficient energy. Must spawn more overlords.
thing against the Protoss, because Protoss as a race, it's based on the current way the game is being played, and that's important to note because the way this game is being developed is quite interesting. So what does that mean? I'm going to explain. The gameplay itself, it changes consistently with the patches that are taking place, and that changes kind of everything, really. Okay, so the hatchery is done, or in production to be precise. So
not enough energy.
It could be, or it is, that not so long ago,
More overlords required.
Protoss may not be very much inclined to play air units.
Sequences spun. Swarm. Insufficient energy.
Early in the game, but now
Insufficient overlords.
the Protoss player will.
More overlords.
Because that is the thing here. In any case, I'm gonna build more workers. So eventually, in this game mode, I tend to kind of overbuild the workers, I think. Or maybe not, because I certainly do not have many troops. And That's
birthed queen.
that's not good. Look at that, I just maxed out on this. And that's just beautiful.
Evolution complete.
Okay,
Energy.
I'm building the hydralisks, and I also need an infestation pit. That's done.
Insufficient
And
energy. Swarm forces under
they did show up. I attacked them with buildings as well. I don't have myself a...
Must spawn more overlords.
everything.
Not enough energy. Insufficient energy. Mutation complete.
I want to say I don't have roach wine, so I can't build everything. And that's due to the build. So it looks like it's one of those builds where
need more sequences spun. Mutated. Not enough energy.
where things like a roach vine is avoided. I'm gonna build quite a few links here, so that I could get the reinforcements rather quickly. So here the links would come into effect very quickly. Okay, now the buildings need to start coming in.
Birth successful.
As you can see, they were trapped. Alright, let's go inside of the base. And there's not that many of them.
Mineral field exhausted.
And not all of them went in, which isn't good at all. In any case, I am doing it. Just fine. It's time to play this again. And I'm going to use the exact same build, and we'll see how it's gonna go down. The next thing I need is an overlord, and I'll be heading for that hatchery. Right here.
Mineral quantity insufficient.
It will take 300 resources, which are not collected very quickly.
Not enough minerals.
And I'm looking now. Eventually, what I kind of suspect is going to happen is I should be able to kind of know what to build and how much, and I'll start looking at the supply count, because for now that is a serious problem. I missed out on the spawn pool here, but not for too long. It's just fine. However, it may just not build in time for the second hatchery. Okay, so here I'm starting 3 workers to send into the extractor. I'm waiting there for the second hatchery to finish, and I'll be just consistently, continuously building stuff now, and I'll have 300 saved up just when the spawning pool finishes. I probably don't have to kind of have that much money precisely there, but it's fine. So that's done, and at this point I just need to drone up a little, build myself a bunch of links. Or should I go for that third
Must spawn more overlords.
hatchery? I don't think so. Well, for example, at this point now, maybe. But no, I think that 300 resources
Insufficient overlords.
could be spent very wisely
Queen ready.
on additional number of links instead. So this would make me a lot more competitive in the very near future, and that's the thing. Then otherwise
Not enough energy.
not. Okay, so let's continue. Here I am allowed to build this, and now my next objective is to defend against Protoss early aggression with air units, and I'm gonna go for an evolution chamber as well, and a lair. That's done. It looks like at this point I will be able to go for additional extractors. As you can see, I completely forgot how to build, I mean when to build, or I just forgot that I need to build. That would be the most precise way. My Zerglings. In any case, they will be here soon, and a series of extractors would go down, and this would eat up my my larva, as well as I need more.
Swarm has evolved. Newly birthed queen ready.
More stuff. In any case, I built even more drones. At this time I should start building another hatchery. Now this would be a nice hatchery because all the other ones are more or less completely filled, and I just kind of need to spend my money on
Not enough
things
energy.
like the hydralisks, which will without a doubt make
Mutation
things
complete.
very, very fun. Also, the Lurkaden will be done, and let's just
Insufficient energy.
19. How's the upgrades going? It looks like there are no upgrades, so I need to
Insufficient Vespine gas.
look through this tab quite a bit and make sure that the upgrades are here, but I just have so much stuff to do that my
Not
mind
enough swarm forces
isn't there.
under
Okay,
attack.
this queen needs to go down into another base. We have successfully defended here without walking on creep. The queen will take quite a bit of time. Now, when it comes to spreading creep, I don't do that very often, and I don't do it because I normally tend to use quite a bit of larva. In
More
fact,
overlords required.
all the larva. So, however, I don't really need that larva
Evolution
always
complete.
as well sitting there, so I may sometimes just build these, which are actually great at kind of just being there, spreading creep. They do end up being negated quite quickly. That's a thing. What's next? I could do a bunch of injects, and
Birth successful. Mineral cluster expanded.
let's at this point build a bunch of links. Alright,
Mutation complete.
then I'm gonna go for as well
Mutated
a few
swarm has
hydralisks.
evolved.
Okay. I don't have any roaches though. That will just have to be fine. Okay, so
Mineral
everybody
field depleted.
is
Swarm forces under attack.
doing their job just fine. Here the bailings
Mineral
will work
field
things
exhausted.
out. Now, in order to avoid the bailings being blown up to pieces, everybody should attack kind of simultaneously here. Okay. Now I want these in. As you can see, the lurkers ended up being a bit left out without an ability to quickly
Mineral field depleted.
borrow, and if they kind of stand in the front, they will most likely be annihilated. Due to the time they need to borrow. Now, with armor at this 33 every 1.43 seconds, which means that they are very, very good building killers. So, if 6 of these would end up being dropped, they would, without a doubt, be a really, really dangerous force. In any case, there I have accidentally and exited the game, and with Alt Tab key combination. Hopefully that won't happen very often. In any case, I want to go for just a little bit into arcade. Oh, Desert Strike. In this LOTV version of the classic Desert Strike tug of war map, defeat the opponent's orbital cannon before they can defeat yours. Okay, that's interesting. Let's try and play this for a little bit. Marine Arena. Marine Arena is competitive Starcraft 2 custom game. Gain minerals by killing enemy units and use them to create a strong army. Oh wow, it's so cool. In any case, actually, I wanted to just go into unit SR and just simply take a look how a Zergling upgrades would affect early gameplay. So when I checked Roach versus Roach and a bunch of upgrades, it turned out that the upgrades themselves, when it comes 10 roaches versus 13 roaches, do not affect the battle if the upgrades are given to the force that has less troops, which is 10. Let's take a look what would happen if I would give upgrades to, for example, Zerglings versus Protoss troops. Okay, that was interesting. So here we see 10 Zerglings versus 4 Zealots. And it's not good enough. Now I'm going to put on an upgrade. So let's take a look how these Zerglings will do with additional upgrades. Okay, as you can see, they wouldn't do much better. This one is without speed. Okay, now let's give them +2 attack. It looks like +2 attack will wound them a bit more than 0 upgrades, and +3 attack may actually do the trick, and the Zealots may start to fall in greater numbers. Now that didn't work out. In any case, I'm gonna give them +3/+3. Let's take a look at that. So that should make the Zerglings more capable. Now it's not all over yet. They still have an additional upgrade, which is link speed. Now link speed will allow the Zerglings to get into the fight very quickly. In fact, they're so strong they almost wipe them all out. Now I'm going to only leave the Zergling speed upgrade on, and let's take a look how that would affect this fight. It looks like they were as effective as if they would have a +1 attack, or they were lucky. in any case, the speed certainly gives them a hit. Now this was a show for a fight with a very few units. I have no doubt that if there would be a lot more, then upgrades would play a very significant role without a doubt, because this is where the percentages actually take effect. In a normal game they wouldn't create such a massive moon shape, as you can see by the blood, but we can still see how it all turns out. So this is without the speed upgrade, and the zealots, they do win without a problem really, but many of them end up being wounded, and they end up being wounded quite a bit. And now what I did is I have given them the Zerglings a speed and the Protoss units charge. So as you can see, the charge, they would move very effectively. And when the Zerglings gained speed, they became extremely effective. Which is without a doubt really cool thing to see. So I'm taking away charge and staying with Ling speed, so they've got a better surround. They're going inside of the circle, flanking the zealots. However, this time it seemed that the zealots have prevailed with a lot less casualties. Then for the time they had charge, so maybe the charge isn't helping that much. Let's take a look. So this time they do have charge, and it kind of makes the Protoss zealots clump up somewhere on the middle a lot more, and in turn they lose more zealots this way than as if they went without charge. Now this time they engage in a very different environment, where the zealots took up a position taking over the map, and they survive with that. So once again, if I do not give the zealots charge, and the Lings just kind of move around surrounding the zealots, they are doing a great job. The zealots suffer a lot less casualties than fighting with charge. So what could I do? I could try to take up a force that I would use to successfully surround the zealots from around the flank. So this time the zealots have been completely surrounded, and they are able to defend themselves anyway, and they have survived with even more troops than it would have been. This time attacking from the south, a little bit stronger, but they just kind of died off in the north instead, and nothing much. Still suffering quite a bit, I am indeed. In any case, let's give the Lings best upgrades and take a look how this would play out. So this should make Lings a lot more sturdy, much stronger. against the zealots without upgrades. And this will give the Lynx the advantage that they need so much. Let's go with +1 attack with that change anything. It looks like +1 attack inflicted quite a few casualties. Okay. Oh wow, I wasn't actually going with +3/+3 as I thought I was. So it looks like the last time I did my play with 10 links, it didn't work out well because maybe I wasn't doing it right. I don't remember now. In any case, I think it was 4 zealots versus 10. And these have +3/+3 with speed. So it looks like in this case they would win. With only attack upgrade, they will not be able to win. And I made a mistake by thinking that this icon right here is defense, because I wasn't even kind of noticing that. My brain just kind of couldn't work this one out. In any case, let's try with +2/+2 then. Would that be just that? No, that's +1/+1. Okay, let's try +1/+1 first. It would be still good. +1/+1 speed, and I'm not winning. Now +2/+2 with speed. Still just wasn't it. And finally, I'm gonna go for 3/2/3 for defense or armor, and 2 for attack. And it looked like that worked out decisively. Now I'm going to do the opposite, so I go 3 for attack and 2 for armor instead of 3 for armor, 2 for attack. Let's take a look. And it looks like armor is a bit more important when fighting the zealots, who are very damage intensive. So that +3 armor is probably making a difference, because the Lynx will simply not die as quickly as having +2 armor. So this is armor 2, and just simply too much damage passed through the Lynx and they die off. And if they die off, they just can't do it. What else could I do here? I may probably try to get some of them out and fight, but that would be a disaster as well. Maybe. In any case, that's it.